Hi, welcome to the Coffee Chat Show here on Buzzin Pattaya, the show where we talk about things that are happening right here, right now, as well as general news, tips and advice. Now, before we get into today's show, firstly, I would like to say a huge thank you to all of you. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers. Thank you very much for joining us here on Buzzin Pattaya. Thank you to all of you that take the time to comment and to interact on the posts that we make. And a huge thank you to those of you that have been very kind to sponsor us with our Buy a Coffee link and helping us with our costs here. So thank you so much to all of you. It really is a genuine, heartfelt thank you. All right, so today's discussion is 3 vital mistakes that you should not make when you're here in Thailand and in Pattaya. And I want to go through each one. I'm sure once we go through these, you'll think, oh, do you know what? Yeah, I've seen something similar, or you've read about it, or you've heard about it, or perhaps you can add other mistakes that people make that they need to avoid. But I want to go through these main 3 things because I think they're things that perhaps would trip people up and you wouldn't actually think about it until it's too late. All right, so mistake number 1 is getting involved in a confrontation with a Thai person. And it doesn't work out here the way it works back in Europe and other countries. In terms of, if we have a discussion in a bar or whatever and we disagree with each other, okay, there might be a bit of shouting, there might be a bit of arguing or whatever. It may even come to blows. But whatever happens, generally speaking, if it did come to blows, 9 times out of 10, most people around you would try and stop it and say, come on guys, calm down and let's leave it at that. Not here, okay? And especially if you are in a confrontation with a Thai person, a Thai man. And I want to refer you back to a situation now. You might remember this. And he was a very, very good friend of mine who was in a bar. I'm not going to name him, but he was in a bar. It was national TV, so maybe you'll remember this. But he was in a bar, enjoying himself. It was the early hours of the morning, and he was playing pool in a bar just off of Walking Street. And at the time when he played his shot, he was playing pool, he played his shot, he knocked a bottle of beer over. Now, the bottle of beer belonged to a girl that was in the same club, and she came over to him and said, you have broken my bottle, you need to buy me a new beer. And he looked down on the floor, and the big giveaway was there was no liquid. So obviously the bottle was empty and that she drank her bottle. And they got into a discussion, which then led into a heated argument. And what happened was the Thai guys tried to break it up, and he got animated with them and aggressive, and he ended up getting a beating within inches of his life. And he had 17 stitches in his head, and he was very badly attacked. And it got to the point where on CCTV you saw a young guy come past on his motorbike, completely irrelevant to the situation, stopped, got off, run over, took his helmet, whacked him on the top of the head with his helmet, got back on his motorbike and rode off. That's the kind of situation that you don't want to be in. So the answer to that problem would have been, do you know what? It's easier just to say, hey, here's your 55 baht for your bottle, even though you know that you're mugging me off, and leave safely. So advice number 1 for mistake number 1 is do not get into an altercation with a Thai man, because they fight in packs and it is not like you would expect in Europe and around the world. So, number 2. Now this one was my own personal experience, and it was something that I just never ever thought of. And I want to share with you 2 things that have happened, one to me and one to someone else. And I was in Bangkok. I was at a ATM machine. I was drawing some money out. It was quite a windy day. And I drew the money out, and as I put the money into my wallet, I was getting my money out, and 20 baht fell on the floor. And all I did was I trod on the 20 baht note to stop it blowing down the road. Yeah, I know, cheap Charlie. But anyway, within seconds, unbeknown to me, there was a policeman in the middle of the road there who saw what I did and started blowing his whistle like he was an FA Cup referee. He came storming over and he was in my face, screaming at me, you tread on my king, you tread on my king. He went ballistic. And I was like, wow, like, dude, like, what's going on? Like, where are we with all this? What's happening? And he pushed me out the way. He picked up the king and he was pushing it in my face, saying, this my king, you not do that, you not tread on my king. And I was like, whoa, okay, look, I'm very sorry, okay? To me, I didn't think about that aspect. I just thought, hey, I've just dropped 20 baht on the floor, it's going to blow away, I'll quickly tread on it and stop it. And the other example I want to give you is I was in a bar in LK Metro, and it's a bar that's no longer here. And at the time, there was an altercation going on between the service staff and this particular customer. And they were arguing over the bill. Anyway, the long and short of it was that he disagreed and they wanted him to pay it. So he got a 100 baht note, he screwed it up in his hand and he threw it at the service staff. Now, okay, not the best things to do, but nevertheless, he had now done mistake number 2 that you should never ever do, and that is disrespect the king. And by throwing and screwing the king's face up and throwing that note, my lord, he got one hell of a beating. And it was just bizarre because there was girls taking their shoes off and smacking them on the head with the shoes. I mean, it was brutal. But it was only to do with the fact of, not the fact he didn't want to pay the bill, it was the fact of what he'd done with the note. So mistake number 2, never to make here, is make sure you do not disrespect the king. Because trust me, you're entering a whole world of trouble. And the last one, which is mistake number 3, and this is my own fault, this is something I did, was when I first came here, it was all new to me. You know, you go to these bars and it's all fun, it's all games, and it appears to be harmless fun. And I went to this bar complex, and it was the bar complex at the front of Walking Street, which is sadly now gone, by the beer garden. And I was by one of these little bars by what used to be the boxing ring there. Anyway, long story short, I got talking to a girl in there, and I decided that we should bar fine and go off and have some fun, which we did. And the next day we said our goodbyes, blah, 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 blah. And when I went off, when I come back in the afternoon, she was in reception. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like, huh? And she's like, hi. I'm like, hi. And she's, oh, I come see you. I'm like, well, you know, now's not really a good time. So I'll tell you what, you go back to your beer bar and I'll come and see you later on tonight. So she was kind of a little bit annoyed about it, but she took it and off she went. So anyway, so there I am. I go down to the beer bar complex about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and she had gone. She'd gone off with another customer. No dramas. Hey, it's fine, it's cool, it's what this is about. So, me being me, I sat down at the bar and I was talking to the mama-san. She was a great lady, really nice lady. And I got talking to a different girl. And the long and short of it is that we decided that we would go off. Well, anyway, so fast forward now 2 days, I went back to the same beer bar complex and she was sat inside. And I was like, oh, hiya. And the glare was just like, whoa, hang on, what's this about? And I'm like, are you okay? No answer. Hello, I'm talking to you. Yes, you know, you, the person sat there. Hello, are you going to respond? Nothing. Suddenly, she gets up and starts screaming at me. Why you go, my friend? Why you not wake me? I was like, what is going on here? And I'm like laughing because I think it's funny. And obviously that's not helped the situation. To the point being that she threw a bottle at me. And it was just like, wow, like this is just crazy, like what's going on? And then the mama son got involved and a couple of other girls got involved. And it all ended up in a whole mess. And I walked away from this bar thinking, what the heck has just happened there? But I later found out that the moral of the story is, and mistake number 3, is don't make a Thai girl lose face. And what I did was, of course, I don't think of it this way, but by going back, obviously all the other girls think, oh, he's come back to see this girl. But because I went off with somebody else, it made the other girl feel like that she hadn't made me as happy as I wanted, or however you want to describe that part. But it made her under pressure because all the other girls are going, oh, so why he not come back for you? Why he go off with the other girl? Maybe you not take good care of him. Maybe you not do good. And it made her lose face. And she went ballistic. So, tip number 3 is don't make a girl lose face, particularly in her own bar. Now, I'm sure you guys out there have got some fantastic stories. Please share them with us. You know, tell us other tips, or if you've had similar experiences or you've seen experiences that I've been describing, you know, share it with us. Make it a great conversation, a great coffee chat, because that's what makes this so good, is all the interaction that you guys kindly share with us. So there you go. So tip number 1, no fighting. especially with Thai people, because you're in for a loser. Tip number 2, do not disrespect the king. And please, if you're going to comment about that, please bear in mind this does get monitored by YouTube, so please keep those comments, you know what I'm saying. And number 3, do not let a bar girl lose face in front of her other working colleagues. All right, so that's it from me today on the Coffee Chat Show. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember, hit the subscribe button, and if you'd like to be notified, please hit the bell icon, and we will tell you when we bring out a new video. And if you would like to help us and support the channel, please, in the description below is a buy me a coffee link. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, we are extremely grateful for any support that you share with us. All right, so that's it from me. Have a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next edition of the Coffee Chat Show here on Buzzin Pattaya.